What is going on, everybody? Now, today is a much different type of video. Today, I'm just going to be sitting down. We're not doing any activities, but I'm going to be teaching you guys every single thing that I did to be able to run a marathon as a hybrid athlete. I even got the setup going. I don't have a whiteboard, so this is going to have to work. But I'm literally going to be in this video. I'm telling you guys everything. There's timestamps for each of the points that I want to make and touch on, and yeah, I'm just basically going to go over every single thing I did to be able to run an official 3:17 marathon for my first ever marathon. Now, let's get into the first thing. So, first thing we got to talk about is obviously the runs, because you can't run a marathon without ever running. You could probably finish by walking, but you're most likely not going to be able to run a whole marathon with without any running training. So, how did I start my runs? What did I do to start? Let's get into all that. First thing is first. If you've never run any sort of distance before, I highly recommend that you at least try a half marathon first. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. You don't have to, but I did. So I started running on May 1st, 2024, and I had my first half marathon on June 1st, 2024. So I had a month to train. And knowing that I had a month to train, I knew I had to go all in and not miss anything. I made a lot of mistakes. In those 30 days, there was not a single day that I did not run. This was a good thing and a bad thing, but I'll answer that once we get into frequency. So, I recommend that you start out running less than I did. I went out running way too many miles, way too fast, which it ended up being okay for me, but later on in my training, I noticed that I was ramping it up too fast and it was leading to injuries. And that's something that you want to avoid. So I recommend running 3 to 4 times a week if you can. That's probably a good place. You want to have one longer run, one speed workout, and then, so if you're doing 4 days a week, two easier runs. The kind of um, saying that everyone says is that 80% of your miles should be easy, relaxed miles. Now, what do I mean by this? If you have a heart rate monitor, perfect. That could be either a watch or a chest strap. If you don't, it's okay. You really don't need one. By easy paced miles, I mean run at a pace that is comfortable enough that you can still have a full-on conversation, or if you don't want to just talk to yourself, if you're still able to breathe through your nose only and not have to open up your mouth to be able to breathe. That if you're able to do that comfortably, then you are most likely running at a zone 2 pace, which is an easy pace. If you can't do either of those things while you're running, that's totally okay. You can try running for a little bit and then walking. You can try just walking. If running alone is too hard for you, that's totally fine. You can do just walking. You can even do something like on the treadmill, like a little incline, kind of like a hike type thing. Anything to keep your it's to keep you from pushing too hard and putting too much strain on your body. If you are a lifter, which I'm guessing a lot of you who are watching this are, if you've ever done cardio for your lifts, you probably have done Stairmaster, you've probably done an incline walk. Those are all forms of zone 2 cardio. And running slow enough and easy enough is also a form of zone 2 cardio. 80% of your runs should be at an easy pace, zone 2. I had 7 runs a week. I would run 7 times a week, but then later changed it to 6, and I was running 4 to 5 of those easy paced, and I always had one track workout or one interval workout or one tempo workout and one long run. Now, how I split this up throughout the week? Simple. Monday, easy run. Tuesday, easy run. Wednesday, speed workout. Thursday, easy run. Friday, easy run. Saturday, long run. And then Sunday, when I was running 7 times a week, was also an easy run, but ended up changing to being just a rest day. So that's what I did. I ran that many times, that frequently. When I first started running, I don't think I was even able to run. I think I was running maybe 5 to 7 miles a week, but I slowly increased that mileage. Now you want to increase by 5 to 10% maximum. Maximum. Don't increase your mileage by more than 5 to 10% a week. So if you're running 10 miles a week, 10% of that is 1 mile. So the next week, you shouldn't run more than 11 miles. Now, as a new runner, it's a lot easier to progress a lot faster, but it is also easier to get injured faster, so be careful. But think of it like you're lifting. When you first start out lifting, there's newbie gains. You make so many more gains so much faster because you're new to it. It's the same with running. You're new to it, so you can make gains a lot faster. You can get a lot faster. You can run a lot farther pretty quickly. But you have to be able to listen to your body and make sure that you're not over pushing yourself and you know the difference between pain and just being tired or uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable if you're trying to run a marathon. I promise you that. You'll be pushing past your comfort zone so many times. But yeah, understand the importance of pain and discomfort. Lastly, with running is your gear. You want to invest in a good pair of running shoes, especially if you are a lifter. If you are a lifter, you're probably a lot heavier than the majority of the population, or at least you most likely have a lot more muscle mass, which means you're probably putting a lot more force into the ground. If you're running in your old Vans, your body's not going to like that very much. So I recommend just even like just any pair of running shoes. Go on Reddit, go on Google, DM me, literally message me. I'll tell you exactly what pair to get, and I'll find you good deals. I will literally find you good deals. Get a pair of good running shoes. It will make the biggest difference in the world. Every time I love buying running shoes now, just because every time I get a new pair, it just makes me want to run because I want to try them. I want to see how much better it feels. I want to test them out and see how I like them. But yeah, shoes so important. Um, Eventually you'll want to get a watch, some type of watch. I have a Garmin. If you don't have a watch, it's fine, but it just helps me like look at my heart rate. Even having a chest strap, super helpful, way more accurate reading of your heart rate. But don't worry about that type of stuff for now. I can't stress this enough. The most important thing when starting out doing anything is to just do it. You don't need to go all in just yet. You haven't even ran. You haven't even started running yet. Why would you go all in and buy all this stuff when you don't even know if you're going to keep doing it for the next month? Just get into the habit of running, and then you can start getting more into it, buying more things. But please just run. That's all I ask. Just run. It's all you don't need much. That's the thing about running. You just need some shoes, hopefully a pair of shorts. You don't even need a shirt. I never run with a shirt on. You don't even need a shirt. Just go run. You can run anywhere. You're in a new city? Run. You're at home? You can go outside and run. You don't have a gym near you? Oh, you can go outside and run. That's the great thing about running. You can run literally anywhere. Anyway, I am rambling. Let's go into the next topic, which is lifting. It's at the beginning. If you do this correctly, you won't feel too tired, you won't feel too fatigued, and you'll feel like you can still lift heavy. But what happened with me was I went way too hard in running and I went way too hard in lifting, and this left me with insane fatigue. I was always sore, but I've now learned to learn from my mistakes. Don't make the same mistake yourself. You're going to have to unfortunately cut back on the lifting volume. You unfortunately, I've talked about this before in other videos, but you can't go 100% into both things. You just can't. They're so different. The training styles for both of them are so different that you can't go 100% into both. If you want to be a really good runner, you're going to have to take away some time from lifting to be able to put that into running. And it's not a time issue. I don't mean that like it's a time issue. I mean that like it's your body's you just you won't be able to. Like you just can't. I don't know how to explain it well, but you can go ahead and try it. You will quickly realize your body just cannot handle being able to do both of the things simultaneously and trying to push in each extremely hard. You can do both. I'm not saying that you can't do both. You can do both. I do both. And I did do both throughout my whole marathon prep. But you will have to cut back on some of the volume. So what did I do to be able to keep my strength and not look like a runner was I made sure I always hit my compound lifts and I at least hit the same weight that I did the week before for the same amount of reps. Some weeks it felt heavier, some weeks it felt lighter, but I ensured that I got it done. Second thing was I cut back my lifting volume like per week, but when I did lift, I still made sure that I went hard because I knew that if I didn't take these training days seriously, then I would lose muscle. And you just worked so hard. You probably have been lifting for a couple of years, working so hard for your physique. Why would you let it all go to waste? So that's what I did. Intensity, you're gonna have to ramp it up. You're gonna have to ramp up your lifting intensity. I only do 2 sets for each exercise, but I go to failure on each exercise. Um, so I told you guys my running split per week, which was the Monday, Tuesday, easy, blah blah. For lifting, I would do Monday was push day, I'd bench. Tuesday was pull day. Sometimes I deadlift like once every other week. I would deadlift honestly. I'm not the biggest fan of deadlifts, so I never really did them. But I always went hard. So Monday push, Tuesday pull, Wednesday was a rest day because it was my tempo day, and also my second longest run of the week. It was usually my Wednesdays. Thursday was another push day. Friday was another pull day. Saturday was rest day because it was a long run, and then Sunday I would do legs. Don't ask me why I did legs after my long runs. It's just what somehow worked for me. I probably should have done them on Mondays, but I just always did them after my long runs. And I was still always able to hit the same weight because, especially as you're earlier in your running career, you want to take your long runs easy. You don't want to go all out and pretend like it's a race. I always took my long runs easy and was able to not be dead after each one because I structured my training intelligently or smartly. I don't know what the word, but I made sure I structured my training well enough to try and prevent over fatigue, overuse, and any type of injury because I didn't want to. I love training. Though I hate being injured or sick more than probably anything in life. My health is so important to me because if I can't do what I love to do, then what's the point of living? So it's important to be smart about your training. If I'm gonna be honest, into my as I got deeper into my marathon prep, I was doing my leg days on Mondays because I was forced to start incorporating, not forced, but I started incorporating some marathon paced miles into my long runs. So, which obviously fatigued me a lot more than just running that long run at an easy pace. And so then I was doing my leg days on Mondays. But I really was only able to do legs once a week, especially after I got up to past like 40 miles a week. I was able to hit legs twice a week, and I was doing the second leg day on that Wednesday. So I would have the Sunday leg day and then the Wednesday leg day. and then I was able to um, run and do legs. Because I don't know what it was, something for some reason under 40 miles a week, which is probably a lot to a lot of people, but to me, I felt fine. I like pushing myself. I like the uncomfortableness, and I also had a lot more free time on my hands because it was the summer. So I was just able to be able to do both. But as like right after I hit 40 miles a week, I had to cut back the lifting, the leg days especially because your legs are going to be cooked. Uh-oh, just gave you guys a little sneak peek. Your legs are going to be cooked. They're going to be tired so much, but it's fine. You got to learn to run on tired legs. You're going to learn to love being tired. All right. Next up, what do we got? Ooh, nutrition. The most overlooked thing I think ever. I think literally ever. I could make this like a whole series with how much information. I'm going to try to get this all into one video. I'm probably going to have to make another video on this because of how much, like, I could go so much more in depth into the runs, lifting, nutrition. But so maybe I will. This video will kind of be an overview, and then I'll hopefully make some other videos in the future going in a little deeper into each of these. But nutrition. If you're like me, I was always fat. Okay. So my whole life, I've basically been trying to cut to finally be able to be lean. But listen to me. If you're like me, you need to eat. I've, for a lot of my adult life, I've been trying to cut back on food, make sure I don't get too fat. But when you're running, especially when you're training for a marathon and you're running over 40, 50, 60 miles a week, you're going to be burning a lot of calories. You're going to need the fuel. So, what I did was before every run, I'd always have some little thing. Usually it was an English muffin with some honey. If it was a longer run, I would have a banana as well. But yeah, having something before you run, as well as water and maybe sometimes some electrolytes. I didn't always have electrolytes, but I especially made sure that I ate enough carbs before I ran because it's so important. Like go try running 8 miles, no fuel before, and then the next week have some fuel before your 8 mile run and see how much easier it feels. It's it's honestly a game changer. But I would always have fuel before my runs unless it was if it was anything less than 5 miles. 5 miles or less, I wouldn't have anything before, but you probably still should, to be honest. You probably still should. So yeah, 5 mile. Okay. Intra run, I would only have like I'd bring gels with me sometimes, but it was only if it was over like an hour and a half of running, which is usually about a little over 10 miles. If I'm going over 10 miles, then I'll probably have something with me. But once I got towards the end of my marathon prep, a lot of my easy runs were always like my shortest one of the week was like 8 miles. But I just felt fit enough to where I didn't feel like I needed to bring a gel with me, but I still would always have something before. So because I had something before, I felt like I didn't really need the intra, and it would take me about an hour to run 8 miles. So I just didn't feel like I needed anything intra, but I recommend if you're going over an hour and a half, especially, then to bring some sort of gel, maybe some candy, whatever doesn't hurt your stomach with you on a run. And then post run, it is so important to fuel back up because post run, your glycogen stores are depleted, bro. They are depleted. You're this like it's the same thing as lifting. Like you guys got like it's crazy to me how like since I've been doing this now for some time, the similarities I see between weightlifting and running. Like all and it really is all activity. You have to fuel your body. Your glycogen stores are going to be depleted after most activities, especially if you go hard, if you go ham, they're going to be depleted. So it's important to eat enough throughout the whole day, especially as a weightlifter. You lift weights, you worked so hard for all of your muscle. don't like fall into the trap of not eating enough and then start losing muscle. It's so important to make sure that you eat enough throughout the whole day. Eat your protein, bro. I know running is catabolic, I know. But if you eat enough protein, you'll be fine. I promise you, you will be fine. You're not going to lose any muscle. I've posted so many transformations on my TikTok of me before running and then after running. I haven't lost a single ounce, bro. Maybe I've lost an ounce, or maybe I've gained an ounce. I don't even know. But what I do know is that there hasn't been a drastic enough change in my physique. If anything, I'm just leaner and I look better than ever. Honestly, I'm way leaner than I was before I started running, and I feel great. I look great, feel great. I love being hybrid. But make sure you eat enough protein. Make sure you eat enough calories. It's so important. Supplements: take your creatine, take your multivitamin, take some caffeine pre-workout, take some salt. That's all you really need. That's all I did. Anyway, lastly, injury prevention, scheduling, structure. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new little thing here. And I'm writing down everything from Monday through Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I said Monday through Friday. I meant Monday through Sunday. Saturday, Sunday. All right. Here's what an average week looked like for me as I was deep into my marathon prep. It would be 8 miles easy plus push. Bang. Monday, 8 miles easy and a push day. Tuesday, 7 miles easy plus pull. Okay, Wednesday would then be 9 to 10 usually miles tempo. Now, what does a tempo, at least my tempo workouts look like? 2 warm up, 2 on, 2, or oops, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off. And that's 9 miles. The on just means a pace that is not too difficult for you to hold, but is still difficult for you. So, like 2 on for me was usually about 6:30 to 6:45. That's a terrible 5. But find what pace is difficult for you and go with that. It could be a 9 minute. That's totally fine. Your pace, it doesn't matter. It's just all relative to you. And this would also be a rest day. My Wednesday would be a rest day. Let me remove this so it's not in the way. No, Jim. That handwriting is terrible. Anyway, Thursday would then be 6 miles easy plus push again. And then Friday would be 5 miles easy plus pull. And then Saturday was long run. So usually it was between 16 and 20 miles long. Start easy. Don't start with this. This is like my peak week. Like not peak week, but like for the bulk of the end of my training, that's what it looked like. Sunday, legs. But yeah. Here, this is what I started. Try this. That's 10 miles right there. If you can do this your first week, you're in a great, great, great spot. But how I really started was I would just try to run 1 mile every day for the first week. Just one every day. If I could do it, great. If I couldn't, I don't know, because I was always able to do it. But just try, it could even be half a mile. Just find a distance that you can run comfortably and it's not too hard for you, and just run. You're don't worry too much about everything else, but I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already have some running background because you want to run a marathon. So you should already kind of have some base built up, but just slowly build up your mileage. Be smart with your lifting and your programming and your structuring. Um, Make sure you're fueled properly. Let's go back up to this. Make sure you're fueled properly. Make sure you're eating enough protein. Make sure you're still going hard in the gym. And yeah, it's not too difficult. If you have any questions, let me know. But it is hard. It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. My first marathon was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. But let me know if you have any questions. If you do, put them in the comments. I'll answer anything. DM me. Um, but I'll most likely be making more videos on this. Try to kind of explain it better. But yeah, this is what I did. It worked for me. It's what I'll be doing again next year. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.